Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10, and here's a reminder of our stories tonight. Nigerian Army court-martials 20 soldiers prosecuting the counterinsurgency operations in Borno State over unauthorized sale of ammunition and other offences. At least 15 inmates escaped following a jailbreak in Nsukka, Enugu State. Federal government reaffirms efforts to ensure deadline for switchover from analog to digital broadcasting is met. And US-backed Libyan militias seize control of the headquarters of Islamic State in Sirte. Just to remind you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the Channels TV app has an eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. 4 members of a family have lost their lives in a fire incident in Jos, the Plateau State capital. The state's Director of Fire Services, Mr. Michael Dong, told Channels Television that the poor electrical wiring of the building could be the cause of the fire. He says there was no quick response because the incident was not reported to the fire service in time.
It was a dark Monday for residents of Jenta Adamu, a suburb of Jos North local government area of Plateau State, north-central Nigeria, as tragedy struck in the area. This 2-bedroom apartment has accommodated retired Assistant Superintendent of Police Anthony Kwamel and his family for 3 years. But this same house has now become where he ended up with his 3 children. An eyewitness giving an account says fire started after an electricity surge which began from the meter area close to the main entrance of the apartment.
In 20 to 30 minutes time, then the wife ran out with a baby in her hands. Then we grabbed her. The next thing she told me, she said, "Mama," I answered, she said, "My husband is dead."
Although the wife and baby escaped the fire, the retired police officer and his son and 2 daughters were not as fortunate.
The wife escaped with severe burns, together with the daughter. So as it stands, investigation is on. The cause of the fire will be unraveled soon.
Looking at the area, there are clusters of houses around this apartment. Why was it impossible for rescue to come early?
They really tried. Everybody comes out, we join hands together to see how we can stop the fire. But unfortunately, the fire was still adding more power.
If they had reported earlier, we would have saved the situation. But everybody who is familiar with Jenta Adamu knows the road is poor, the houses congested, accessibility is a problem. And you see, what baffles me is sad about this issue is that this is a place that is within the standard radius of 2.5 kilometers. And you have a functional fire station with 2 trucks and they're not able to report on time.
While investigation is ongoing into the cause of the fire, the fact remains that members of the family have been wiped out, and that hurts more than any findings that will be unraveled.
A tragic one indeed there. We cross over to Abuja. Here's Gloria Umezuke. Gloria.
Hello, Ijoma. Welcome to the nation's capital. The Federal Road Safety Corps has set October the 1st as a new deadline for the installation of speed limit device on commercial vehicles across the country. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Boboye Oyeyemi, warns that motorists who fail to comply with the new policy will have their vehicles impounded.
To the commencement of the mandatory installation of the speed limiting device for commercial vehicles, a policy of the Federal Road Safety Corps to reduce accidents caused by overspeeding by commercial vehicle drivers. At the Jabi Motor Park, Channels Television spoke to some motorists, and there appears to be a mixed feeling towards the new policy.
The issue of speed limit or not speed limit, let them go and be telling the federal government the places that will have problem of the road. What else? Let them go and report to the federal government or to FEMA so that they will repair it.
The issue of speed limit device is good, because if you watch all these years, there are a series of accidents on highway, and I thank God the government and the initiator of speed limit device.
But the FRSC is all set to commence the compulsory installation of the speed limit devices in commercial vehicles. The Corps Marshal has given a deadline of October the 1st.
We invited all the key stakeholders here to convey the Presidency's directive for the commencement of enforcement for 1st of October. So we still have about 2.5 months. This is something we should have started on the 1st of June last year. So we have 2.5 months for commencement so that all the key stakeholders can look into this.
There will also be a penalty for those who default after the set date.
We don't need to pursue any vehicle. We just stop you, like we verify the license, and on the tablet we verify whether your vehicle has been installed with the speed limiting device. That's the most important thing. If it has not, we impound the vehicle.
Speed has been identified as a key factor in fatal road accidents. It's hoped that this policy will be fully implemented to safeguard the lives of motorists and other road users.
Over 1,000 residents of Busi 4 community in Obanliku local government area of Cross River State have been rendered homeless. They were forced to flee for their lives when unknown gunmen attacked their community. There are allegations that neighboring communities may have attacked the area over a land dispute, which residents of Busi 4 say has been resolved by the courts. Tonight, our community report examines the situation and efforts of state authorities to intervene.
Now you're talking.
The drive in the countryside to Obanliku local government area of Cross River State is a smooth one. A beautiful scenery, but on the ground is a different story. All that is visible is desertion and destruction. Homes, machines, pots, all burnt. The story goes that communities in the area have for a while now been embroiled in land tussle. And this usually leads to violence, sometimes fatal. Thankfully, this particular incident did not claim any life. And from all indications, it appears those who lived here left in panic.
I started hearing people running, that we should run, we should run. People have entered the community. They want to come and kill us, they want to come and kill us. So I just called my children. I say, it's better for me to run with the children. We didn't even carry anything. We just ran like that, up to the mountain in the hut where our people are farming. That is where we went and slept that night.
We sleep here in the police station. Everything that we ate in the police station every day. And there's no shelter for us. No place provided for us to stay. So we are always here in the police station, 24 hours. We ate granite. We ate granite for the whole day.
The land dispute is said to be in court, which makes the residents wonder why such an act should take place.
We felt that if there were any disagreements or grievances in the community about land issue, this community have won for 5 consecutive times. The High Court says it's abuse of judicial process. Go to appeal if you are dissatisfied. We thought that they would go to appeal. We never took arms. Even when they invaded the community, we asked the young people not to retaliate.
On hand to assess the level of damage are officials of the emergency management agencies from the state and national levels. Both agencies are incensed at what they term needless destruction, especially now that the federal government has its hands full dealing with issues of internally displaced persons in various parts of the country.
the security forces should step up their activities and bring these people to justice. The government is overwhelmed with several responsibilities, providing schools, hospitals, drugs. We cannot use the lean resources we have to be, assisting people who engaged in communal violence.
This case is an extreme case where people will leave their communities and even the neighbors are saying they can't harbor them. It's unheard of. And so the governor, as I speak with you, we have the names of those who perpetrated this act already. And so the government is already working hard to see how we can now invite these people in. Then we take other measures.
The government has made a promise that hopefully will be kept soon. But what the people have is an immediate need, which is where to go from here now.
The federal government has been advised to invest more in young people to sustain the nation's socio-economic development. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the executive director of the United Nations Population Fund, Professor Babatunde Oshotimehin, asked federal authorities to engage young people in policy formulation. Professor Oshotimehin explained that young people need to be properly guided to ensure they contribute positively to national development.
I want to emphasize that it requires investment for this to work. It's not automatic. The fact that you have a population of young people that are maturing and they get into the ages of between 15 and 24 and beyond does not mean that the economy of that country is going to grow if you don't invest in those young people, in their skill set, in their ability to disrupt and begin to do things for themselves. That's what it is, and that's what the UNFPA is trying to make sure that governments do.
Still ahead on the news at 10, South Africa overtakes Nigeria again as Africa's biggest economy in US dollar terms. Well, that's in business news. Please join us again.